I never thought a breakup could hurt this much. It had been 3 months since I walked away from Ryan, and honestly, I was still picking up the pieces. Every morning I'd wake up and feel that empty space in my chest where trust used to live. Ryan Carter wasn't just my boyfriend, he was my best friend for 2 years. Or at least I thought he was. The truth is, he was controlling, jealous, and made me feel small every single day. When I finally gathered the courage to leave, he looked me in the eyes and said, "You'll regret this, Lily. I promise you that." I thought it was just anger talking. I thought he'd move on. But looking back now, I realized those words weren't a threat born from heartbreak. They were a warning, a promise he fully intended to keep. At 27, I was starting over, rebuilding my interior design business, reconnecting with friends I'd lost touch with, and trying to remember who I was before Ryan. Maya was the first person I called after the breakup. We'd been best friends since college, and she never liked Ryan. "He's too controlling," she'd say. "The way he checks your phone? That's not love, Lily." I didn't want to hear it back then. Love makes you blind, they say. But after I left him, Maya was there with ice cream, tissues, and a reality check. "You did the right thing," she told me one night as we sat on my apartment floor surrounded by design sketches. "Now it's time to focus on you." And that's exactly what I did. I threw myself into my work. Interior design had always been my passion, transforming spaces, bringing visions to life, making people feel at home. I started posting my projects on Instagram and Pinterest. Slowly, clients started reaching out. Small jobs at first, a bedroom makeover here, a living room refresh there. But each project felt like a step forward, like proof that I could build something beautiful on my own. Then came Mrs. Collins. She was a sweet elderly woman who hired me to redesign her guest cottage. It was a small job, but she loved my work so much that she recommended me to her nephew, Nathan. "He just bought a property downtown," she told me over tea. "Needs the whole place done. Office space, conference rooms, everything. I showed him your portfolio, dear. He's very impressed." My heart raced. This could be the break I needed, a commercial project that would put my business on the map. When Nathan called, his voice was warm and professional. We scheduled a meeting at the property, and I spent the entire night before preparing my pitch. This was my chance to prove I could handle big projects. Ryan's voice echoed in my head sometimes. "You're not ready for commercial work. Stick to small residential jobs." But I pushed those doubts away. I was ready. I had to be. The morning of the meeting, I chose my best professional outfit and headed downtown with my portfolio, my heart full of hope. Nathan was nothing like I expected. He was around 30, dressed casually but professionally, and had this genuine smile that made me feel instantly comfortable. "Mrs. Collins can't stop talking about you," he said as we walked through the empty space. "She says you have a gift for understanding what people need before they even know it themselves." We spent 2 hours discussing his vision, a modern, open workspace that still felt warm and inviting. He wanted his employees to love coming to work, not dread it. I took notes, asked questions, and felt that familiar creative spark igniting inside me. By the end of the meeting, Nathan extended his hand. "I'd love to work with you, Lily. When can you start?" I tried to contain my excitement, but inside I was screaming. This was it, my big break. We shook hands, and I left that building feeling like I was finally on the right path. That night, I celebrated with Maya at our favorite restaurant. "I'm so proud of you," she said, raising her glass. "Ryan who?" We laughed, and for the first time in months, I felt truly free. What I didn't know was that Ryan was watching. Not physically, but online. Every post I made about my new project, every behind-the-scenes photo, every celebration of my growing success, he saw it all. While I was moving forward, he was stuck in the past, festering with resentment. He'd started dating someone new, a woman named Ava, but it was all for show. Later, I'd learned that he used her as part of his plan, though she had no idea. Ryan couldn't stand seeing me happy. In his mind, I had betrayed him by choosing myself over him. So he decided to destroy what I was building. It started small. A fake email account created in my name. Photoshopped screenshots of conversations I never had. Messages to my clients claiming I'd overcharged them or used cheap materials. He was careful, methodical. He knew exactly which buttons to push. And because he'd been with me for 2 years, He knew my business inside and out. My client list, my pricing, my insecurities. He weaponized all of it. The first sign of trouble came on a Tuesday morning. I was at a coffee shop reviewing fabric samples when my phone rang. It was Nathan. "Lily, I need to talk to you about something," he said, his voice tight. My stomach dropped. "Is everything okay?" There was a pause. "I received an email this morning. It was anonymous, but it had some serious accusations about your business practices. Look, I don't want to believe it, but I need to ask you directly. Have you ever misrepresented costs to clients or used their deposits for personal expenses?" I felt like I'd been slapped. "What? No. Nathan, I would never. I want to believe you," he interrupted gently. "But this email had screenshots. Conversations where you allegedly admitted to padding invoices. Banking records that don't match what you quoted me. My hands were shaking. Those have to be fake. I've never done anything like that. Can you forward the email to me?" He agreed, and when I opened it, my blood ran cold. The screenshots looked real. My name, my email address, conversations I didn't remember having because they never happened. But they were convincing. Terrifyingly convincing. I called Maya immediately, my voice breaking as I explained what happened. "This is insane," I sobbed. "Someone's trying to destroy me and I don't know why." But even as I said it, a name flashed in my mind. Ryan. It had to be. Who else would have the motivation? Who else knew enough about my business to create such detailed lies? "We need to prove these are fake," Maya said firmly. "Meet me at your place. Bring everything. Your real emails, your banking records, every piece of documentation you have." That evening, we sat at my kitchen table surrounded by papers and laptops. Maya worked in digital marketing, so she knew her way around metadata and image forensics. "Look at this," she said, zooming in on one of the screenshots. "See this timestamp? It says the conversation happened last Tuesday at 3 p.m. But you were with Mrs. Collins at that time. I know because you texted me from her house. It was a small crack in Ryan's perfect plan, but it was something. We needed more evidence, though. Enough to prove beyond doubt that I was being framed." Over the next few days, more anonymous messages went out. Other clients started pulling back, asking uncomfortable questions. My Instagram comments filled with accusations from faceless accounts. "Scammer," they called me. "Fraud." Each word felt like a knife. I stopped sleeping. Every notification made my heart race with panic. Nathan had put the project on hold until things cleared up, and I didn't blame him. From the outside, it looked terrible. Maya stayed by my side through all of it, helping me document everything and reach out to a lawyer. But legal help was expensive, and my savings were dwindling fast. I felt trapped, watching my reputation crumble while the real culprit hid behind anonymous accounts. Then one evening, Maya called me, her voice electric with excitement. "I found something. Ryan messed up." She'd been digging through the metadata of the fake emails, tracking IP addresses and email headers. Technical stuff I barely understood. One of the emails was sent from Ryan's home network. He forgot to use a VPN. "And look at this." She sent me a screenshot. The fake email account had been created the same day I met with Nathan, and the password recovery email? It led back to Ryan's personal account. We had evidence, but we needed a plan. "We can't just send this to Nathan and hope he believes us," Maya warned. "We need to expose Ryan publicly so he can't spin another lie." I was scared. Confronting Ryan meant opening a door I'd worked hard to close. But I was also angry, angrier than I'd ever been. He tried to destroy my life because his ego couldn't handle the breakup. That wasn't love. That was cruelty. We decided to arrange a meeting with Nathan first, to show him everything we'd found. When I called him, I could hear the hesitation in his voice. "Lily, I want to hear you out, but please," I interrupted. "Just give me 1 hour. If you still have doubts after that, I'll walk away from the project." No questions asked. He agreed to meet at a neutral location, a quiet cafe downtown. Maya came with me for support, carrying her laptop with all our evidence. When we arrived, Nathan was already there, looking tired and conflicted. "I want to believe you," he said as we sat down. "Mrs. Collins vouches for you completely. But these accusations were all fabricated by my ex-boyfriend," I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Then Maya opened her laptop and began walking Nathan through everything we discovered. Nathan's expression changed as he reviewed the evidence. The metadata, the IP addresses, the timeline that proved I couldn't have sent those messages. "This is extensive," he said slowly. "Your ex did all this." I nodded. "His name is Ryan Carter. We dated for 2 years, and when I ended things, he threatened me. I didn't take it seriously then. I should have." Nathan leaned back in his chair, processing everything. "Have you gone to the police?" Maya answered. "We're planning to, but we wanted you to know the truth first. Lily's reputation has been damaged, and we need to rebuild it. The best way to do that is to expose what really happened." Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. "I got another email this morning. From the same anonymous account. Let me forward it to you." When I opened it, I felt sick. It was worse than the others. Claims that I'd stolen design concepts from other designers, that I'd bribed Mrs. Collins for the recommendation. Ryan wasn't just trying to ruin my business anymore. He was trying to destroy me completely. "I want to help," Nathan said. "What do you need?" With Nathan's support, we formed a plan. We'd arrange a face-to-face meeting with Ryan, but we'd record everything. I'd confront him directly, get him to admit what he'd done. It was risky. Ryan was smart and manipulative, but Maya believed we could catch him off guard. "He thinks he's won," she said. "That makes people careless." Getting Ryan to agree to meet was easier than I expected. I sent him a simple text. "We need to talk. About us. About closure." He responded within minutes. "I've been waiting for you to realize you made a mistake. Tomorrow at 7. Our old coffee shop." Reading his response made my skin crawl. He actually believed I was coming back to him. That I'd been broken down enough to crawl back. The arrogance was stunning. The next evening, I walked into that coffee shop with my phone recording in my pocket. Maya waited outside in her car, also recording through the window. Nathan wanted to come too, but we decided it was better if I went alone. Ryan was already there, looking pleased with himself. "Lily," he said, standing to greet me. "You look tired. This whole independent thing isn't working out, is it?" I sat down across from him, my heart pounding but my voice calm. "You're right, Ryan. Things have been difficult lately." His smile widened. "I told you that you'd regret leaving me, but I'm willing to forgive you. We can start over, put all this behind us." "Behind us?" I repeated. "You mean the fake emails? The screenshots? The anonymous messages to my clients?" His expression faltered for just a second before he recovered. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Really?" "Because I have evidence that traces everything back to you. IP addresses, email metadata, timestamps. You weren't as careful as you thought." The coffee shop suddenly felt very quiet. Ryan's jaw clenched. "You can't prove anything." "Actually, I can. And I will. I just wanted to give you a chance to admit it. To explain why you tried to destroy my life just because I didn't want to be with you anymore." He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a harsh whisper. "You humiliated me, Lily. You made me look weak. Do you know what that feels like? Watching you succeed while everyone asks me why you left? I had to do something. There it was. The admission I needed. But Ryan wasn't done. You think you're so smart, don't you? You and that annoying friend of yours. But even if you have some evidence, who's going to believe you? I've been careful. The emails look real. The screenshots are perfect. It's your word against mine." "Not anymore," I said quietly, pulling out my phone and stopping the recording. "I have your confession, and my friend outside has been recording this whole conversation through the window." The color drained from Ryan's face. You wouldn't." "Watch me." I stood up, my legs shaking but my resolve solid. "You tried to destroy my career, my reputation, everything I worked for. Because of what? Pride. You need to get help, Ryan. This isn't normal behavior." He grabbed my wrist as I turned to leave. "If you release that recording, you'll what?" I pulled my arm free. "Sue me? Go ahead. I have a lawyer too. And unlike you, I have the truth on my side." Outside, Maya was already out of her car, her phone ready to call the police if needed. But Ryan didn't follow me. He just sat there, finally realizing that his perfect revenge had crumbled. The next few days were a blur. Maya and I took all our evidence, the recordings, the metadata, everything, to a lawyer and then to the police. While criminal charges would be difficult to prove, we had enough for a civil case. More importantly, we had enough to clear my name. Nathan helped me draft a detailed statement explaining what happened. We posted it on my business website and social media, along with select pieces of evidence that protected privacy but proved the accusations were false. The response was overwhelming. Former clients reached out to apologize. New clients expressed interest. People who'd never heard of me before shared my story, amazed by the lengths Ryan had gone to for revenge. He catfished his own ex-girlfriend's business. One viral tweet read, "This is psychopath behavior." Within 48 hours, Ryan's life began falling apart. His company, a marketing consultancy, started losing clients who didn't want to be associated with someone who'd orchestrate such an elaborate scheme. Ava, his girlfriend, found out she'd been used as part of his plan and dumped him publicly on Facebook. "I thought he loved me," she wrote. "Turns out I was just a prop in his revenge fantasy." Ladies, when someone badmouths their ex constantly, that's a red flag. The most satisfying moment came when Ryan's own company released a statement. "We have investigated the allegations regarding Ryan Carter's personal conduct. While these actions occurred outside of work hours, they reflect a pattern of behavior inconsistent with our company values. Effective immediately, Mr. Carter has been terminated from his position." Maya sent me the news article with about 50 fire emojis. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt exhausted. Yes, Ryan had faced consequences. Yes, my name was cleared. But the damage he'd caused still lingered. Some clients never came back. Some people still believed the original accusations, thinking my response was just good PR. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. Nathan called me that evening. "I saw the news about Ryan. How are you holding up?" "Honestly, I'm not sure. Part of me is relieved. Part of me is just tired. That's understandable. Listen, I've been thinking. Are you still interested in the project? Because I'd like to move forward. No more holds, no more doubts. I believe you, Lily. And I think you're incredibly talented." Hearing those words brought tears to my eyes. Really? Really? Let's build something great together. Over the next few months, I threw myself into Nathan's project. It became more than just work. It was my healing process. Every design decision, every color choice, every piece of furniture I selected felt like a declaration. I was still here. I was still creating. Ryan hadn't won. The office space came together beautifully. Nathan's employees loved it, and photos of the project went viral in interior design circles. My business didn't just recover, it exploded. I had to hire an assistant to keep up with inquiries. Maya helped me build a stronger online presence, this time with better security and privacy settings. We laughed about Ryan sometimes, in that dark humor way you laugh about things that once hurt you. "Remember when he said you'd regret leaving him?" Maya said one day. "Technically, you did regret it. You regretted not leaving sooner." Mrs. Collins invited me to tea again, and this time Nathan joined us. We talked about the project, about life, about resilience. "You know," Mrs. Collins said, patting my hand, "my late husband used to say that a person's true character shows not when things go well, but when someone tries to tear them down. You, dear, have shown remarkable character." Nathan and I grew closer as the project progressed. It started professionally, meetings, site visits, design approvals. But gradually, our conversations deepened. He told me about his own past, his own struggles with trust after a difficult breakup. "Not as dramatic as yours," he admitted with a slight smile. "But it made me understand why you were so guarded at first." I appreciated his honesty. After Ryan, I'd built walls around my heart, convinced that opening up again would only lead to more pain. But Nathan was patient. He never pushed, never demanded more than I was ready to give. He just showed up consistently, reliable, honest, kind. One evening, after finalizing the last details of his office design, we went to dinner to celebrate. It wasn't labeled as a date, but it felt like one. The conversation flowed easily, punctuated by laughter and comfortable silences. "Can I tell you something?" Nathan said as we left the restaurant. "When Mrs. Collins first told me about you, she said you were talented but also mentioned you'd been through something difficult. She asked me to be patient with you. I didn't understand what she meant until later. What do you think she meant? I asked. I think she recognized that you'd been hurt but were fighting to rebuild, and she wanted to make sure I didn't add to that pain. He paused on the sidewalk, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. I'm glad I listened to her. You're remarkable, Lily. Not just as a designer, but as a person. My throat tightened with emotion. Thank you for believing in me, even when things looked bad. Especially then, he said softly. We didn't kiss that night. We weren't quite there yet. But something shifted between us. A possibility neither of us was quite ready to name, but both of us felt. Over the following weeks, as I finished the final touches on his project, Nathan and I spent more time together. Coffee meetings that stretched into lunch. Text conversations that lasted into the night. Maya noticed immediately. You're smiling at your phone again, she said. But this time it's different. Better. She was right. What I felt for Nathan was different from what I'd felt for Ryan. It was calmer, steadier, built on mutual respect rather than intense need. With Ryan, I'd lost myself trying to please him. With Nathan, I felt encouraged to be fully myself. The official project reveal was scheduled for a Friday evening, a small event for Nathan's team to see their new workspace for the first time. I'd spent weeks preparing for this moment, ensuring every detail was perfect. When the employees walked in, their reactions were everything I'd hoped for. Gasps of delight, exclamations of surprise, people immediately gravitating toward their new desks, running their hands over the custom furniture, admiring the art I'd curated. Nathan found me in the corner, watching the scene with a mix of pride and relief. You did it, he said. They love it. We did it. I corrected. This was a collaboration. He smiled. Speaking of collaboration, I have something to tell you. I've been getting calls all week from other business owners who saw the preview photos. They want to know who designed this space. Lily, you're about to get very busy. My heart soared. This was what I dreamed of. Not just surviving, but thriving. Building something meaningful with my own hands and vision. That evening, as the celebration wound down, Nathan pulled me aside. I have one more thing to show you. He led me to a wall near the main entrance. There, on a sleek plaque, were the words, Interior Design by Lily Morgan. Below it, a brief description of my business and website. I wanted everyone who visits to know who created the space, Nathan explained. You deserve the recognition. Tears filled my eyes. After everything, the betrayal, the public humiliation, the fight to clear my name, here was proof that I'd made it through. Not just survived, but emerged stronger. Thank you, I whispered. For everything. Thank you, Nathan countered. For not giving up. For fighting back. For showing me what real courage looks like. That night, Maya threw me a celebration dinner. Just the two of us, wine and takeout, sitting on my apartment floor like we had months ago when everything was falling apart. Remember when you called me crying about those fake emails? Maya said, Look at you now. Booked solid with clients. Featured in design magazines. And maybe, possibly, dating a really decent guy. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in years. I don't know about the dating part yet. We're taking it slow. Good. Slow is good, especially after Ryan the Ridiculous. We clinked our wine glasses. To revenge that backfired spectacularly, Maya toasted. And to best friends who dig through metadata to prove it, I added. As I looked around my apartment, at the design sketches scattered across my desk, the portfolio of projects I was proud of, the life I'd rebuilt from scratch, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Genuine happiness. Not the frantic, anxious happiness that comes from trying to prove something to someone, but the deep, settled happiness that comes from knowing yourself and liking who you are. A few weeks later, I got an unexpected message. It was from Ava, Ryan's ex-girlfriend. Hi, Lily. I hope it's okay that I'm reaching out. I wanted to apologize for any role I played in what Ryan did. I had no idea he was using our relationship to hurt you. I also wanted to thank you for exposing him. You probably saved me from wasting more years with someone who's incapable of real love. I responded kindly. You have nothing to apologize for. You were manipulated too. I hope you're doing well. We ended up meeting for coffee. Two women who'd both been caught in Ryan's web. Ava told me about the warning signs she'd missed. How Ryan constantly badmouthed me, how he seemed obsessed with my social media, how he'd once asked her to create a fake account to check on something. "I thought he just needed closure," Ava said. "I didn't realize he was orchestrating a revenge plot." Talking to her was healing in an unexpected way. It confirmed what I'd come to understand. Ryan's issues weren't about me. They were about his own broken sense of self-worth, his inability to handle rejection, his need to control. Nothing I could have done differently would have changed who he was. Meanwhile, Nathan and I officially started dating. We kept it private at first, not wanting to complicate our professional relationship. But eventually, it became impossible to hide. We were too happy. One Saturday, he took me to an art gallery opening. As we walked through the exhibits, talking about color and composition, I realized how different this felt from any relationship I'd had before. There was no jealousy, no possessiveness, no need to constantly prove my worth. "I like this," I said, gesturing vaguely at the space between us. Nathan smiled. "The art." "No. This. Us. How easy it feels." "That's how it should feel," he said, taking my hand. "Relationships shouldn't be constant work. They should be partnership." Later that evening, over dinner, Nathan told me about a conversation he'd had with Mrs. Collins. "She told me she knew we'd end up together," he said with a laugh. "Apparently, she's been playing matchmaker this whole time. The project was real, of course, but she admitted she had an ulterior motive in introducing us. I wasn't even surprised. Mrs. Collins had a way of seeing what people needed before they knew it themselves. "Should we be mad?" I asked. "Probably," Nathan said, "but I'm too grateful to care. She saw something in you that I might have missed if we'd met under different circumstances. Your strength, your resilience, and my eye for neutral color palettes." I teased. "That too." 6 months after the confrontation with Ryan, I received a letter. Not a text or email, an actual handwritten letter in the mail. It was from Ryan. My first instinct was to throw it away unopened, but curiosity got the better of me. The letter was shorter than I expected. No long justifications or excuses, just a few paragraphs acknowledging what he'd done and claiming he was in therapy. "I don't expect you to forgive me," he wrote. "I don't even know if I forgive myself yet. But I wanted you to know that I understand now what I did was wrong. Not just wrong, sick. I let my ego and my pain turn me into someone I don't recognize. You deserved better, both during our relationship and after. I'm working on being better. Not for you, but because I don't want to be that person anymore." I showed the letter to Maya. "What do you think?" I asked. She read it carefully, then handed it back. "I think it's a start. Maybe he'll actually change. But that's not your problem anymore. You don't owe him forgiveness or a response." She was right. I filed the letter away and moved on with my life. Forgiveness, I was learning, wasn't about the other person. It was about releasing the hold they had on you. I didn't need Ryan to change to be happy. I was already happy. A year after everything fell apart and came back together, Nathan's office was featured in a major design magazine. The article highlighted not just the aesthetic choices, but the story behind it, how I'd persevered through a campaign to destroy my reputation. The writer called it a testament to resilience in the face of malicious intent. The feature brought even more clients, more opportunities, more recognition. I expanded my business, hired 2 full-time assistants, and started teaching design workshops on weekends. Maya left her marketing job to become my business partner. Together, we built something neither of us could have created alone. Mrs. Collins passed away that winter. At her funeral, Nathan and I sat together, holding hands, grieving a woman who'd changed both our lives. In her will, she left me a painting, one I'd admired during our very first meeting. On the back, she'd written, "For Lily, who creates beauty even when surrounded by ugliness. You reminded me that hurt people don't have to hurt others. Keep creating. Keep believing. Keep being you." I hung that painting in my office, where I could see it every day. A reminder that kindness exists, that people can see your worth even when you're struggling to see it yourself. Today, I look back on that entire experience, the betrayal, the public humiliation, the fight to clear my name, and I don't regret any of it. Not even the pain. Because it taught me things I needed to learn. It taught me that I'm stronger than I thought. That real friends show up when things get ugly. That revenge built on lies will always collapse under its own weight. and that the best response to someone trying to destroy you is to simply keep building. Ryan tried to ruin my life because he couldn't stand seeing me happy without him. But all he really did was prove that I didn't need him. I'd been whole all along. He was the one who was broken. The other day, I got a message from a young woman who'd read about my story online. "Your ex did something similar to me," she wrote. "I wanted to give up, but reading about what you went through and how you fought back, it gave me hope. Thank you for not staying quiet." I realized then that what Ryan meant for destruction had become something else entirely, a story of resilience, a roadmap for others facing similar battles. His perfect revenge didn't just blow up in his face. It became the catalyst for something better than he could have imagined. I'm 28 now, running a successful design firm, in love with a man who respects me, surrounded by friends who stood by me. And Ryan, well, I heard he moved to another city, starting over. I hope he finds peace. But mostly, I just don't think about him anymore. I'm too busy creating the life I actually want to live. And that, I've learned, is the sweetest revenge of all.